Hallo iedereen en welkom bij Dutch Go. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about comprehension and listening. And even though you know me from Dutch Go, this video is really related to all kinds of languages. So no matter what the languages that you're studying, it doesn't matter because most of the tips that I'm going to give to you are generic enough that you could really apply it to your own target language as well. So, keep that in mind. I mean, in the article down below, link to this video, you'll also find some very specific tips related to audio and video material specifically for Dutch, but the generic tips you could definitely use in whatever language that you are studying. So, I want to talk to you today about the difference between active versus passive listening, active comprehension versus passive comprehension, and as a general guideline, so active listening relates to understanding really specific information related to the topic that you're discussing in class and will ultimately result in passing the listening part of whatever exam it is that you're planning on taking. Passive listening, however, is really a lot more about developing a positive, relaxed, fun relationship with your target language, and will involve more like music, videos, and whatever interactive material that you can find that you like and that you enjoy in order to establish this positive and relaxed relationship with your target language. Let's go! So first of all, active listening is something that I presume a lot of you are doing in classes, that is to say, if you have a good teacher. Active listening comprises of listening to dialogues related to the book, or maybe watching a video related to the material or theme that you're discussing in class, answering questions about it, maybe making a grammar exercise related to it, maybe making a vocabulary exercise related to it. The purpose here is really to acquire new vocabulary, get more familiar with the language, and specifically related to the topic that you're discussing in class. The material is not necessarily always the most enjoyable or funny, but it will always serve the purpose of improving your listening skills in an active manner and making sure that you at the end will be able to pass the listening exercise part of the exam as well. If you want to vary things and switch it up a little bit at home, you could of course always re-listen to some dialogues or texts from the book, maybe try to rewrite the dialogue or the text from the book into your own words, or rephrase it or talk about it in your own words. All of these are good exercises. However, you could also use other material, which is where it gets a little bit tricky sometimes for students to find good material. But here I'm thinking specifically for To Be Dutch, which is a fantastic site with short video clips for students who are learning Dutch from the Netherlands, or netbox.be for students who are learning Dutch from Flanders. And so both of these sites have short real-life video clips, so meaning it's not specifically made for students. They're video clips from news shows, from television programs, movies, whatever. And related to these videos, specifically on Netbox, there will be some questions as well. To Be Dutch also has subtitles in several languages depending on the video. So both of them are good material. You can even search per keyword, maybe related to the theme or topic that you're discussing in class at that moment, and watch some extra material related to that topic as well. So those two sites are great ways of improving your active listening skills as well. So now, and on to passive listening. So basically, in general, make sure that you find material that you like, that you're comfortable with, that you find enjoyable. And word of warning, yes, that does mean digging in and investing some time. Enjoyable material, things that you like, is not always necessarily the easiest to find, of course. So it does mean really, investing some time. As a general rule, if you like listening to music, then maybe you can find music in the target language. In the article, I've indicated some Dutch artists from any kind of genre, so everything from R&B to hip-hop to pop to rock. But in general, if you're listening to music via YouTube, Spotify, or have a CD in your car, keep that system. Just replace that list, that playlist, that CD, whatever, with something in your target language. If you're listening to music when you're cleaning the house, well, then continue doing that, but just make it music into the target language and invest some time of really going through the playlists, checking out the genres in your target language and finding artists that you more or less like, or at least find in some level enjoyable. If you don't like it, skip it, because it's really, again, about developing a positive relationship with the language. Having said all of that, there's also the visual component, and that's where things might get really tricky. You might have tried to watch some series or soaps or whatever, and that might have been frustrating for you, especially if you're a beginner. I totally understand, and it's also, series and soaps really come down a lot to personal taste as well. So if you're a beginner and you're still looking for good video material, then maybe I would recommend watching maybe travel shows or cooking shows, or maybe YouTube videos related to your hobby, whether it's yoga or the gym. Videos in general where you have a strong visual component. So basically you don't get lost so much in the language, you have the visual component there to guide you and to help you move forward, and even if you don't understand every single word in the target language, it doesn't matter, you have the visual component to guide you. Also, you could still watch things like Disney movies, Pixar movies, which most of the times are dubbed. However, the general tip here would be to make sure that you're familiar with the movie, that you've at least seen the movie once, so you know the story, you know more or less what is going to happen, so you don't have to focus too much on the story itself. You can just let the language, wash over you, basically. You could even put here subtitles, subtitles in the target language, or subtitles in your in English or in your native language. That's also all good. But it's a nice way of being exposed to your target language as well. And if you like watching the news, well, that's great too. However, it could still be complicated, especially on an A1, A2 level. My recommendation in general is to start watching the news on a B1 level. A1, A2, maybe watch more things related to your hobbies, travel, cooking, or whatever, because that is also going to be more related to the topics that you're discussing in class. More specific tips related to Dutch you'll find in the article down below in this video. But as I said, really take some time, invest some time to find things that you like and find enjoyable. And I know it's not necessarily easy, but hey, no one said that learning a language was easy anyway, right? Right, we're here for the challenge and we're gonna make it. Good, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment in the comment box down below. Maybe leave some tips for other students. What other tips do you have for your fellow students? And if you're studying Dutch, any specific material, music, videos, or whatever things that I've missed or that you personally like when you were a beginner, or if you're a beginner yourself, you're listening or watching right now. Thank you so much for watching. Give a like if you like, subscribe, and yeah, see you next time. Tot de volgende keer. Dag!